this is the second in a series that that Pam and I are doing, and would love to just continue having these evenings. They're a great deal of fun for me, certainly, and to share AmaWaterways with you. And tonight we're going to do AmaWaterways exotic products. So really three absolutely magnificent itineraries that I have had the pleasure of doing, except Egypt. However, it's a new product for us. So let's go. I just want to do not a couple of housekeeping things, but if you haven't traveled with us before, you know, oceans take you to countries, but rivers take you through them. And so you are always totally immersed with the people and the architecture and the food and the libation, the cultures, the language, and certainly the areas that we're going to on these three itineraries are simply magic. So river cruising is really just wonderful opportunity for you to be totally immersed. I also would like to say that AmaWaterways was founded in 2002, and we are owned by three families. And the wonderful thing about our primary owners, Rudy Schreiner and Christine Karst, who are a husband and wife, is that Rudy had a plan. Always had a crisis plan for things that would happen in the world, whether it's a volcano or whether it's, you know, things that happen. Who knew we were going to have a pandemic? And he's a very secure individual in the fact that AmaWaterways is entirely debt-free. He pays cash for our vessels, and he builds them and he designs them. So I want you to feel good about AmaWaterways. We are looking so forward to putting our ships back in the water, certainly in Europe, which is the largest part of our deployment. But then these three amazing new itineraries are certainly a part of that. So just wanted to let you know about AmaWaterways. And at the moment, of course, there are travel protocols, health and safety protocols. I don't want to go through a lot of them because we are talking about the exotic product, and those countries might be somewhat different. But I do want you to know that wherever the travel protocols are in place, we are going to be absolutely right there with it. Again, most of our sailings are in Europe, and the European Union is working with all of the river cruise ships. We will carry no more than 100 guests, and the protocols here are listed within face coverings, temperature checks, social distancing, and so forth. So we will absolutely adhere to the protocols of the countries we're visiting. Again, if you've not been with us, again, we're going to be talking about exotics, but I just wanted you to know in the European product, we are covering all of Europe where there were rivers that will sustain river cruise ship. The reason we don't have any blue lines, and all the blue lines are where we're traveling, is that in Italy, they just don't have enough water in the rivers in order to sustain river cruise traffic. We wish they did. If they did, we would all be billionaires. My travel partners, and certainly the companies that would have ships on the river. So we are traveling all the way from the North Sea to the Black Sea, on the Rhine-Main and the Danube rivers here. If you were to travel that, it would be 3,000 kilometers through 10 countries. We also were on 3 rivers in France. We are in Portugal on the Douro, and then we're going to talk about our exotic product shortly. Ama means love, and that's why AmaWaterways is such an amazing, special company. It is all about family. It is all about making you feel so incredibly taken care of and a part of our family when you are on us. We have a very personalized approach. We're very hands-on, phenomenal service. It's all about our guests. The highest standards of accommodations. We carry fewer people than our competitors and have all of the amenities that you would want in a 5-star floating hotel. We locally source our amazing cuisine. We are the only river cruise ships, and this is for Europe, that were designated La Chaîne de Rotation, which is a fine dining gastronomic organization that started actually in the 1200s, and Rudy was inducted into the Chaîne. So our ships in Europe are designated Chaîne. And the idea is that you have exclusive access to the authentic life of where we are taking you, these wonderful countries and the people that you're meeting. So let me start in Southeast Asia. With Vietnam, Cambodia, and the Mekong River, it is one of my very, very favorites. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you through the entire experience. We do have land arrangements with all three of these products, both pre and post, which you can certainly take if you wish. In Vietnam and Cambodia, um, uh, that stands to reason. Yes, you can do that. In Egypt, it's quite a very inclusive product on the front end with Cairo, but I'll talk about that in a few minutes. But we do have pre and post land arrangements. And in Africa, yes, we have a core product, and then you have the decision to be able to choose one of 5 safaris. So just wanted you to know that I will be talking about a bit of the land as well. With this itinerary, it is a 7-night cruise, and the 7-night cruise is from Kampong Chong in Cambodia that will take you down the Mekong into Vietnam to the port of Mai To to Saigon or Ho Chi Minh City. So that is the 7-night cruise. But the pre and or post, depending on which way you want to do it, land program is 2 nights um, in uh, I'm going to do it from Hanoi going down because that's what my program is. You would have 2 nights in Hanoi, a night in Halong Bay. We would fly you to Siem Reap. From there, we would take you to the ship. You would have 3 nights in Siem Reap, and then you would have 2 nights in Saigon on the back end. We also have an add-on 3 nights in Bangkok. So the pre-extension, we are staying at the Sofitel Legend Metropole. It is the most gorgeous hotel right in the center of the city. I love staying there. Everything is incredibly close. When you walk out the door, you can just walk in the most beautiful areas of Hanoi. We will have a city tour, of course, by all means, to get you acclimated. And it's absolutely a pulsating, wonderful town of gosh, I don't know how many million people are living in Hanoi, but I can tell you this: when I was there 4 years ago, there were 9 million motorbikes. So if you can imagine, the pulsation of this town is just absolutely wonderful. And this is a picture of us taking you on a tour, but it's a rickshaw ride. And we're going to go into the hongs. We're going to go into the places where the streets in the old town, every street had a particular reason for being there. Let's just say that one was Hairbow Street, one was the Locksmith Street, one was, maybe a butchering area. The whole thing was really, really interesting. It is absolutely lovely. We will also take you to a water puppet show, and that's a really special thing for you to see. It actually only used to be done in the north of Vietnam. Now they are doing it in the south as well. But it's a fantastic, you would go into this lovely theater with a huge pool in the center, and all of the puppetry is done with the puppeteers underwater, and the puppets are above. You never see the puppeteers. It is absolutely the most unusual thing you would see. So it's wonderful. We will take you to my there we go. We will take you to Ho Chi Minh's tomb and burial area. It was a very important area, so we're going to be taking you to the historic parts of Hanoi, as well as the Hanoi Hilton. And the Hanoi Hilton is where John McCain actually was in prison. And it's very interesting. His pictures are there. The story is there. It's really an amazing opportunity. Some of us were born, certainly are living in the time of the Vietnam War, but I can say this to you, that when I was in Vietnam, it is simply called the conflict. It was never simply called a war. These people are really quite astounding. Now, amazing. After we do our 2 nights in Hanoi, we're going to take you to Halong Bay. I've been in travel 40 years, and I've been in the water, in cruising for 30 of those years. And Halong Bay is probably the most beautiful place or piece of water I've ever sailed through. There are thousands of these limestone escarpments, and we're going to be spending a night in a beautiful ship that is called the Paradise Elegance, and sailing around these beautiful, beautiful escarpments. We also are going to be visiting some. We're going to go into the caves and exploring Halong Bay. So we are be able to get on the water, and it is an amazing experience you will never forget. Being in Halong Bay is like living in a Chinese painting. From there, we're going to go back to Hanoi and quickly come down to Siem Reap. And Siem Reap now is in Cambodia. So we have left Vietnam, coming into Cambodia for 3 nights at the Royal Sofitel Angkor Hotel. Exquisite 5-star hotel with every amenity, the most beautiful infinity pool you can imagine. And from here, what you're going to be able to see is 3 astounding days of the temples of Angkor. Of course, we're going to Angkor Wat, one of the very major temples that has been, what I'm going to say, excavated and cleaned up. And I'll tell you why in a moment when I show you another couple of pictures. This is one of the largest temples within this area. And it is, I want you to remember that all of these temples are entirely carved in bas-relief, so that the guides that we have that are from this area and will travel with us on the ship are telling you the stories as you are getting, they are reading the hieroglyphics and the things that are on these temples, and it is quite astounding, the history that goes in to the Khmer. We will visit Angkor Thom as well. There are 50 of these faces as you come into the temple complex. Every face is different. Absolutely fabulous to be able to see. And this was my favorite. Well, my second favorite. This is Ta Prohm. Now, Ta Prohm is a temple where this tree that you see is called a strangler fig. And when they come to these temples, of which there are thousands within Cambodia and in Vietnam, so many of them have not been excavated, of course, because it's a very expensive thing to do. But they left this one, which has been somewhat excavated, but left the fig tree there, and it will eventually overgrow and destroy this temple. So they have taken wonderful films. I think Raiders of the Lost Ark, actually, they came to this area and did some shots of Ta Prohm Temple. And then my very favorite, if it's going to move for me, hold on a sec, what? Oh, there we go, is Ban Tre Sri. And Ban Tre Sri is a temple that is only dedicated to women and monkeys. It was a very, very kind of a small temple. All the bas-relief are lovely carvings of women with very wonderful headdresses. It is just wonderful. And you might notice that the stone is pink. It isn't dark. So it was just something to behold to be able to come into Ban Tre Sri. So after that wonderful time in Siem Reap, you incidentally, while you're at the hotel, will have a Khmer dance extravaganza performance in the hotel, which is absolutely beautiful. You will come down to embark in Kampong Cham to our lovely Amadara. Amadara is, again, a 5-star floating hotel. She only carries 124 guests. She has all of the amenities of Ama. Her beautiful staterooms are known for our twin balconies, of course, which we do throughout Europe as well. But it has such a wonderful Asia feeling, wonderful teak floors. It is absolutely a gorgeous, gorgeous ship, as well as the cabins are very spacious. Obviously, this luxury suite is 502 square feet, but even her more standard cabins are balconied. She has no non-balcony cabins. Of course, our complimentary beverages, house spirits, local beer, soft drinks all day, imported wine with dinner, with lunch and dinner, just as we would do as we were in Europe. And of course, we are so known for our food, fresh and locally sourced ingredients. Here, this lady, we do have a permanent pho station. We call it in this country pho because that's what it looks like, Pho. They pronounce it pho there. And it is with us for every meal. So breakfast, lunch, and dinner, there is a pho station. But we're also doing traditional dishes and cultural dishes and Western cuisine. One of the cool things, and I am hoping that they're going to be able to continue this because everything virtually is now being served a la carte with the pandemic. But they used to put the dishes for lunch and for dinner. As you came into the dining room, you could see them, which I thought was really wonderful because a lot of people don't understand or may not know that if somebody is offering you flying prawns with, whatever the description is, you might wonder, oh my gosh, what the heck is that? So you could see all of the dishes and it makes it great fun. The dining room is absolutely lovely, of course, and very Asian. We do have the chef's table, which we are known for. The chef's table are going to give you 12 to 13 courses, all with the paired wines that go, so you have all the different tastes of a true chef's table. And of course, the sun deck and the pool. The pool is really important to you when you're in Southeast Asia because yes, it will be hot. And we do our excursions in the morning and then we sail further down the river and then we go to another port and we are doing excursions in the afternoon or mid-afternoon, coming back around, if you will, cocktail hour. So you do enjoy the pool during the day. When we're in Udon, this was something that I so loved. We went to a Buddhist monastery and we had the most amazing ceremony. The monks there, and you think, oh my gosh, they started to chant and we were all very quiet and sitting and listening. They started to chant and I thought, oh my gosh, can I listen to this for the next, 15 minutes? Within a minute and a half, you were absolutely lulled into this fabulous feeling of euphoria. It was really quite amazing. Of course, the monastery you can see is all painted. It was beautiful. And they do the blessing, and then everyone comes by the monks and they put a bracelet on your arm, and it is made of like thread, if you will, and you were supposed to keep it on. Don't take it off until it falls off. Mine stayed on for 6 weeks, which I thought was really cool. So by the time I got home, I still have my bracelet. Well, I want you to know that we have wonderful types of transportation for you. So we are riding in an ox cart in Kampong Twalak, which is a lovely little town where we're visiting the locals. This trip is all about mixing with the locals, seeing how they live, going into their houses, and what's happening on the river. So that is a great fun thing to do. You would come in to Phnom Penh. Phnom Penh is the capital of Cambodia. And you will be able to see many, many things, as well as ride in a tuk-tuk and some other really great fun things with transportation. But in Phnom Penh, you will visit the Royal Palace, as you can see here. You will as well visit the Silver Pagoda, the National Museum, and in actuality, we do have a tour to the Killing Fields Memorial. When Pol Pot was the head of this country, this dictator, he actually was responsible for killing 3 million of his own people. It started from the intelligentsia down. So virtually what was the people that were left were the people in the fields. That has been a while ago, but I can tell you going to this memorial was very, very breathtaking. The people in Cambodia are the most smiling, gentle human beings you will ever come upon. They are just absolutely fabulous. And we're going to continue sailing down the river to Tan Chau. We're going to actually, when we come into Tan Chau, we have a day of cruising where we cross the border into Vietnam. So lovely, lovely, lots of picture taking along as we have this day of cruising. It is seamless for you to go through. The ship virtually takes your passport and they do all of the, things that need to be happening for you to be able to come in, which is great. And then we're coming into Town Chow, a cute little town where, again, we have you in a little trishaw here, which is great fun. And on to Sadek. I love Sadek because here we are going into the markets. The markets are so incredibly wonderful. The color, the smell, the vegetables, things you have never imagined that are there. We went into a meat market. That was really very interesting as well as a fish market. So lots of really fun things. We go to floating markets, and we go to markets that are on the land. But I love the markets. I just think that this is durian, huge on the left hand side or the right hand side for you, a huge fruit that people like to say it smells like hell, but it tastes like heaven, and that is durian. So then we are going to come in to you're going to disembark in Ho Chi Minh City. I love Ho Chi Minh City. It is pulsating. It is absolutely 24/7. There's things going on. It is so exciting and a bit different from when you were in Hanoi, in the fact that Hanoi is French colonial architecture and has such a real French atmosphere up there. And when you come down to the southern part of Vietnam, you come into, wow, is what you come into. When we were there, again, it is full of the most amazing people, sights, sounds, color. And there were, at the time, I think the last thing we heard, but there were 13 million motorbikes in Saigon. They have this little thing about the idea of Hanoi being quite a little more formal, and Saigon is having just a really good time. So we stay at this beautiful Sofitel Saigon right in the center of town. So it's great to walk out, do wonderful shopping, and to enjoy yourself. We will, however, with the tours, we're going to take you to the Presidential Palace, which the old TV programs or the old TV news programs, we saw a lot of this building, and you do go through it. It has great historical significance, certainly for the south of Vietnam. And our people were there, of course, as well. We will also go to the Ben Trop Market. This market is absolutely huge. It has everything you could possibly imagine to want. It's really great to go there the day before you go home, because if you've forgotten to buy anybody, some silk or some kind of handicraft or whatever, it's really great for that. And we're going to take you to the Central Post Office, which is a really spectacular building. You think, why would I go to a post office? But the architecture of it is spectacular. The Notre Dame Cathedral and the War Remnants Museum. If indeed, as well, you would like on your last day in Saigon, we do have a tour that will take you to the Chu Chi tunnels. During the war, this was 200 miles of underground network of tunnels, and it was very interesting to see. I didn't enter the tunnels. They're very, very small and so forth, but the historical part of it was very interesting. And then you would go home or spend 3 nights in Bangkok. In Thailand, a favorite I've spent so many times in Bangkok. You will stay at the beautiful Peninsula Hotel right on the Chao Phraya River, which is there. This is a land trip. We're not on the Chao Phraya, and of course see the major sites of the Grand Palace with its wonderful golden spires. There's a huge amount of gold in Thailand. Thailand, the people are very devout, and if they have whatever little amount of currency as they're walking home from work or whatever, they will buy a slip of gold and go to the temple and put it on. So kind of cool to be in Bangkok, as well as you will see the reclining Buddha. It's this picture doesn't do it justice. It is absolutely huge, and of course all gold. I wish I could remember how long it was. It's probably longer than 2 or 3 city buses. in a beautiful, beautiful temple. So there's lovely things to see in Bangkok. It is a very exciting city and something that if you can, don't miss. It really, really is fantastic to be able to see. All right, now we're going to go to the continent of Africa, and we're going to start in the north. Our Secrets of the Nile in Egypt is a brand new itinerary. We actually are building the ship as I'm speaking to you this evening, and it is going to be an absolutely beautiful, beautiful program. It's going to start next September, September of 2021. And is going to be just jam-packed with the most wonderful tours for you. So let's have a look. I always love the map because I'm a map lady, and I'm going to do the cruise, and then we'll tell you just a little bit at the end about the pre and post land programs. But the core of the program is when you buy this cruise, you will have included, of course, Cairo. So we're going to spend 3 nights in Cairo. We are then going to fly down to Luxor, where you will begin your 7-night cruise to Luxor, from Luxor down to Aswan, and then back to Luxor. We are then going to fly you back to Cairo for an overnight. And the reason we're doing that is because the flights leave incredibly early in the morning, like in the middle of the night, if you will. So we just thought it'd be so nice for you to have 1 extra night before you have to get into those flight schedules. And then we are doing pre-cruise. We are offering Jordan, and we are offering Dubai. And I have some slides at the end of this presentation to show you. So 3 nights at the Four Seasons, Cairo, the middle of the city, beautifully appointed. It has 7 restaurants. You'll be able to really enjoy yourself. And in a city of 23 million people, it is kind of like an oasis, if you will. Cairo was founded actually in 31 BC. So it's been there a very long time. Transfers, incidentally, are included in this. If you're ever doing our air, of course, we're including transfers. And even if you're not and you wanted to come in on this program, we would meet you if you do your own air. So we just want to be able to envelop you on this program. We will take you to the Egyptian Museum in Cairo. And at the moment, it is the old museum. The new museum is being built, but it keeps being delayed, delayed, delayed. If it is the new one, that's where we'll take you. And of course, we're going to spend easily a half a day in the Egyptian Museum, seeing, of course, the relics of King Tut and so forth. So a really spectacular opportunity for you to do. Incidentally, and I will maybe throw in some things that I remember, we traveling on your ship, you will have Egyptologists. So we will have 3 groups of people, and each one will have their own Egyptologist, and they will be staying with us on the ship. So how wonderful to be able not only to be with them during the day while they're telling you all of this information, but to be there at night, maybe to have dinner, maybe to sit at the bar and have a drink with them or whatever. So really wonderful. And after we do the museum the next day, we are actually going to go to this wonderful, amazing market in Cairo, the Khan El Kahili. And somebody had said to me it has 6,000 stalls. Can't imagine. I just don't think I'd like to get lost, but looks like there's lots of things to keep you busy and spend your money on. And we are going to actually have lunch at a very special restaurant that is in this market. So that should be a lot of fun. And of course, the next day we are going to go out to see the pyramids, the Great Sphinx, by all means, which has been, had lots of different stories told about it, who it might be and whatever, but how wonderful to be able to spend time being around these wonderful relics and to see the fabulous things that are going on, certainly. I think this is going to be a lovely opportunity for you. We are going to take you to Mina House. As you can see, the pyramids behind you. It's a beautiful, beautiful restaurant and hotel, and you will have lunch here. How lovely to be able to be out in the pyramids, come back and have this wonderful lunch while you are near the pyramids. You then are going to start your 7-night cruise in Luxor. The ship is called Amadalia, and Amadalia is being built by Rudy. So this is basically a drawing or a picture. She will have her own docking space, which is quite nice. So there won't be anyone else basically kind of near us in, of course, obviously on the Nile. And she will only carry 68 passengers, 34 cabins on this beautiful ship. She, of course, will have our chef's table, our wonderful fine dining, our an incredible opportunities to be able to have fine wines, beers, soft drinks, and so forth at our meal times. All the things that you know about Amma are going to be included in this vessel as well. Her staterooms, and this is the top deck. I thought really it's lovely. Christine has been very involved, our owner, in wanting to make it look as Nubian and as Egyptian as possible, as far as the colors and the things that are coming through Amadalia. So she's very involved in the decoration. Um, the spacious suites. Now, we have 34 cabins, 24 of them are suites from 370 to 430 square feet, beautifully appointed with absolutely gorgeous bathrooms. We also then have 10 staterooms that are windowed, and they are 196 to 226 square feet. But gee, it would be so wonderful to be able to be out on your balconies and be able to enjoy all the things that you're going to see as you're on the rivers. I think I have a couple more shots, yes, of the beautiful suites. Of course, our cuisine, again, is going to be both local and continental cuisine. We source our things locally, which always works for us, although we will have an Austrian chef with an Egyptian kitchen crew as well. So we're going to be able to try the wonderful things that come out of Egypt and would make it great fun as well. So as we are starting down the river, we will, and I could only put in so many shots, so I kind of picked my favorites, you'll bear with me. But the temple of Queen Hatshepsut, and the thing that makes this special is she was the first woman ruler of Egypt. So her tomb is quite fantastic, and we will have the opportunity to see that. We're also going to see another very special tomb of Queen Nefertari. Now, this is really a wonderful thing because it is an exclusive access for AmaWaterways. It is, of course, included by all means. All of these things are included in your tours. And it is normally probably about $150 per person to be able to come in. It is done by special appointment. But can you imagine going into this lovely tomb and see the colors that look like they were done yesterday? What an absolutely beautiful opportunity for you to enjoy that. We are going to put you on a felucca when we are in Aswan. And I just think to be on the river on this beautiful boat that is a sailboat, if you will, to let you see how are the people living on the river. When you get to that level, you're really with the people. How are they living? What are they doing along the river? Are they bathing in the river? Are they doing different things that just let you see how their days work out? And lovely to be at this level. So the felucca, a boat ride, I think is really, really special. And we're taking you to a Nubian village in Aswan. The Nubians were the first people to come in, actually, into Egypt. And they obviously were a very colorful group. I think that when you look at these old, wonderful houses, and you're going to be able to visit them and have lunch with a family, that it looks like they have their hieroglyphics in all the different colors and so forth, and you'll have that all explained to you. So I love the fact that we're able to go to an area where you've got people from so very long ago, and they are still there. These are the people that have so much historical significance to tell you. And we are also going to have, I have a great little shot here, I think, of course, the camel. I think the camels look great with all of their headdresses, and one of our guests or someone of a guest would be able to maybe have a close encounter with one of the camels. Great fun for that, and a local market to be able to visit. I do have a little insider tip. We do have a optional excursion, the only one that we're basically within this part of the cruise, and that is to go to Abel Simbel. So when we come down to Aswan, um, the tour to Abel Simbel really should be pre-reserved before you ever leave the States. Please book that with Pam so that you're able to get on. The reason I say that is the airplane that takes you, it's about a 30-minute plane ride, only holds 15 guests. And remember that our ship only holds 68. So just kind of a heads up to be able to see Abel Simbel. Here we have this lovely kind of an inside shot. This is a temple or part of Abel Simbel that actually has a window on both sides of this. I don't know if this is a tomb or just part of kind of a building. Maybe, I guess it is a tomb. That on the solstice, the sun will actually come right through the tomb. So what a cool thing to be. I think that would be really kind of fun to see. So we might set your time for the solstice to be able to travel. Actually, it's basically that plane ride was 200 miles south, and it's $325 per person. So I that had that note and didn't tell you. And then we will, of course, be able to take you to the Karnak Temple back in Luxor. As we come in, back in before we disembark on the ship, you will have a couple of other tours, which is quite nice. So the Karnak Temple is going to be there. And let's see. Bringing you back to Cairo for your night before you leave. We have a lovely, very special lunch for you in the Presidential Palace. We're going to be able to come into the palace. They have a wonderful, wonderful art collection. This palace actually is lived in, and the president does have people that, you know, heads of state and so forth that do come in. But we are very fortunate that the gentleman that put this program together for us, that works with us and also has done Africa, is able to set up a luncheon here. So delighted to be able to do that for you and would make it very special. And then we have our land extensions at the end. You would be able to do 3 nights in Dubai. We're going to be, yes, we're going to go to the mosque, which is quite exciting. This in Abu Dhabi, this mosque, if you were happen to visit it on a Friday, it does fit 40,000 people. So it would be quite something to see in that area. And we're going to take you out into the desert for a Bedouin dinner in the desert. The second choice for you, is going to Jordan, and it is a it's a 4-night program. You would spend 2 nights in Amman, and then you would have 2 nights in Petra. So delightful to be able to see these amazing, again, temples in these areas. And for a post program, after you would do the cruise, and if you would like to go and spend 4 nights in Israel, we'd love to have you. The Israeli program is going to be 4 nights. It's a 4-night program, and you would stay in Jerusalem and also Tel Aviv with a visit to the Dead Sea. So dip your toe in the Dead Sea if you would like to do that. And we wanted to also tell you that all of these departures, as far as the pre and post land, are guaranteed. If we only had one couple that wanted to go, it's going to operate. So delighted to share that with you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, Now we're going toward the south of Africa with our amazing safaris and wildlife cruise. This is a spectacular program and has a little bit of history. When Rudy and Christine were married in 2011, he took her, she had no idea where she was going on her honeymoon, and he took her to Africa and took her to this beautiful boat, which you will see in a moment, called the Zambezi Queen. And they were so enamored with it up on the Chobe River that they said, we must have the Zambezi Queen and create a program around her for AmaWaterways. So the map is a bit important. What is happening is most people, about 90% of our guests, fly into Cape Town. And we do have a pre-program in Cape Town, which is a 3-night program, which you can purchase from us. Then we are going to fly you up to Kasane, and we are going to put you on the Chobe River. And the Chobe River runs between Botswana, a little bit of Namibia, and Zambia. You are going to have 4 nights on the Zambezi Queen, and then we're going to take you off and as a land program, bring you to Victoria Falls for 2 nights. So the core of the program are the Chobe, the Zambezi Queen, and Victoria Falls. However, before you left, Pam would be talking to you about widening your trip and choosing one of 5 safaris. So here we go. And as I said, most people come into Cape Town. It is probably one of the most beautiful cities I have ever visited. It is so exciting because it's as if you're at the end of the world. You're at the end of the continent of Africa. So that the weather is very interesting. It's absolutely beautiful. We will be having you stay at the Cape Grace. You will be having wonderful tours to Cape Point, of course. You will be visiting, you will have the gondola ride up to Table Mountain, which you can see here, which actually has a few clouds on it. And they call the clouds the tablecloth. Isn't that a great term? So, Table Mountain. We will also take you out to the winelands area, to Franschhoek, where you'll be able to taste the amazing South African wines and find the architecture so interesting with Cape Dutch architecture. The seafood from here is absolutely wonderful. So 3 very, very special days in Cape Town. Then we're going to take you to the Zambezi Queen. Only 14 cabins, 28 guests, and I like to call this a float through the animals. Because a river does what? A river brings the animals to you. All of them need a drink. And so the idea of a float through the animals really resonates with me. When you look at the boat, it is the 2 lower decks are accommodation, and the top deck is the restaurant, is reception, is the lounge area, and there's a wonderful little pool up here. It's lovely to get a bottle of wine, sit in the pool, and watch the wildlife, I can say. Really fantastic. We also take you off the Zambezi Queen into even smaller conveyance boats where we can get you closer to the hippos, and we take you on shore for some of your tours. Here's a lovely cabin, which looks like it is, a queen stateroom. So they're beautifully appointed. And I'd like to say this to you. I've been traveling for 40 years in the industry, and the first time I went to Africa, it simply changed my life. Africa will take a hold of your soul, and it's because of these people. If you never saw an animal when you went to Africa, it is the people that are so incredibly wonderful. They want to show you their wonderful country. They are friendly. They are the warmest, most lovely people. So these will make your cruise and your tour absolutely spectacular. The onboard dining is absolutely exquisite, of course. And again, we're offering our spirits, local beers, wines, and so forth, by all means. Here's one of the smaller safari boats. As you can see, you can get closer. It does have its own little bar on it, incidentally, which is kind of fun because we don't want to make sure that you're having the absolute best time as you're on the smaller boats. And it's just excitement after excitement after excitement. After you have these four wonderful days on the Zambezi Queen, we are taking you to Victoria Falls for all things Vic Falls. You will stay at the Victoria Falls Hotel, and it is really one of the closest of the hotels to the falls. It isn't sitting right on them, but you can hear them from the hotel, and you can see what they call the smoke that rises, is what they call this wonderful kind of, if you will, spray that comes off the falls. Is just really fantastic. You will have 2 nights in Victoria Falls and be able to visit. You will have a lovely ride on the Zambezi River for kind of a cocktail evening out on the river, which is really lovely. Now, some people want to end their trip at that point, and we will fly you to Johannesburg and you would fly home. That would be the shortest of the programs. However, we have a very special program called Rovis Rail. And Rovis Rail is like the Venice Simplon Orient Express. It's a very, very elegant train that you would spend 3 nights and travel 1,000 miles on a rail safari down to Johannesburg, or really, yes, to Johannesburg, Pretoria, and then we will take you out of Johannesburg. It is fine dining. It is deluxe suites with a bath in the suite. We do side the train at night, so we're not moving at night, but you will see amazing game and be able to ride on an incredibly wonderful train. Or we will take you to Kruger for a 3 night amazing safari in the Kruger National Park area. And of course, this is where you will see the Big Five, by all means, or certainly hope so, on the wonderful safaris that you do go on every day. It's all inclusive from, of course, the alcohol to the wonderful accommodations to they do your laundry. I mean, it's very, very terrific. And I put this shot in because it was so important to me, in the fact that, of course, you can see there are 4 people, as well as you have your tracker and your guide, but these vehicles are open, and the excitement of being in the bush and doing safaris and getting so incredibly close to the animals in an open car is really the adrenaline rush of your life. It truly is. My husband and I, when we were doing this and coming upon a pride of lions and the little cubs are playing in the grass and whatever, and he would just look at me and say, oh my gosh, we could be lunch. Never happened. It was wonderful. This is where we stay. Tinswallow, this lovely, lovely lodge has only 8 of these wonderful um, uh, rooms, if you will say, with this beautiful plunge pool. Hey, if you're really lucky, maybe in the morning, you will have an elephant drinking out of your pool. I happen to have a giraffe. It was incredible because there are no fences. This is not Disney. This is real, and it is absolutely, you will have the time of your life. Then we have the long program, and that's going to be 7 nights in Tanzania, including the Serengeti. So if you happen to go during the migration, you will have animals, millions actually of animals to be able to see. But we do such a great program because we do these fun, wonderful places. We have you in Tangangiri up in the treetops. So you're in a tree house in your accommodation. And these are beautiful accommodations with lovely, wonderful amenities. When we take you to Ngorongoro Crater, you actually are going to be staying in the manor, which is wonderful. These are all individual, like little houses, if you will. And we will take you, of course, into the Ngorongoro Crater. When you see the pink here, those are flamingos. And there are times when there are so many flamingos in this lake that it just simply looks entirely pink. If the animals that are born in Ngorongoro Crater never leave. There was no way for them to get out. So you will certainly see the most incredible amount of game in the crater. The Serengeti Migration Camp is wonderful. I love to put these pictures in
bucket,
because these are
course,
tents.
next to
These are
it, because
tented
nothing
camps,
like
and
having a
aren't
lovely
they
bath
elegant?
with
They will
a
have
glass flush
champagne,
toilets. They will have
and
clog
you are
tubs
just
in the
with
bush,
having the most
a
amazing time. Here again is another picture. This would be the lounge area, and look how dinner is served with all of the crystal and the napery. It is wonderful. And of course, you do have a sundowner here where you're sitting. Everybody likes to meet at the end of the day and talk about what they saw, what are the animals, what were the birds, have a lovely glass of wine or whatever. They do that in the bush as well, and it's just part of this Africa experience. And then the piece de resistance, if you would like to make it the world's end and do gorilla trekking in Rwanda, we have this program. It is a 4-night program. You would have 2 opportunities to trek with the gorillas or trek to the gorillas. Here is Rudy and Christine. It was his 60th birthday, and that was so high on his bucket list. Christine's behind him looking shell-shocked. She said it was really, she just didn't know what to think. And it was probably one of the most incredible experiences of her life. So we do have this program that you can add to your African safari. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to say, yes, the rivers continue to flow for all of AmaWaterways, whether it is in Europe or it's in our exotic, wonderful products of Africa, Asia, or Egypt. We can't wait to have you sail with us. It's always such a great pleasure for me to talk about all of these wonderful areas. I've had the great opportunity to do all of our cruises except Egypt, and share my stories. So thank you for spending time with me. And I had to do this because nothing like coming out of Africa. So thank you so much for your time tonight.